Cartel, my people, my babies, my dogs, what's going on with y'all boys, man? Y'all already know what time it is, man. It's your boy Golden Ghost, and welcome back to the Golden Ghost Cartel. And today it's finally time for the unofficial yearly Tekken discussion video. But instead of making a whole 15 to 20 minute video about the absolute state of Tekken 8 or how my personal feelings towards it are, which if you want to know the answer to how I feel, I mean, it's alright. I don't love it, but I don't hate it either, but I will admit it is addicting. It's hard to step away from that game once you get in. But that's not what I want to speak about today, because you see, there's some big, and I do mean colossal fish that we need to fry today. If you haven't heard the news by now, Harada, who recently retired from Tekken, who originally claimed that he just wanted to rest and focus on his health, is now coming out of retirement out of nowhere, but not under Namco and not under Tekken, but under his own new created studio funded as a subsidiary of SNK. This news shook the FGC to its core for multiple reasons. There's been multiple questions as to why, but considering we now have confirmed wording by Harada himself that he's been disgruntled with what he was seeing happen at his previous position, I, as someone who's a DOA player first and foremost when it comes to the fighting games, I'm seeing a pattern. A long while back, I made a commentary video titled How DOA 6 Became the Foundation for Tekken 8's New Mechanics, where I gave my theory as to how this Tekken had things that would make DOA 6 players feel right at home based on what we were seeing in the early betas. I got a lot of this wrong just due to the fact that Tekken 8, especially by Season 2, just showed that it really was trying to become his own aspect of Tekken. Something completely different on its own. Something that's not DOA, Soul Calibur, Virtual Fighter, or even the older Tekken games where Harada had full control over his child. But in every other aspect of Tekken 8, it's almost like a full circle moment with how much outside of the gameplay. The game reflects how DOA 6 was around 2019-2020ish before it was walked away from. The gameplay feeling dumbed down with meter mechanics. Some of the DLC costumes looking like almost a copy-paste model of the DOA games within the Tekken shop. And now the creator stepping away to create something entirely on his own. Now as it stands, Harada has the ability to destroy the Tekken brand. I don't say that as hyperbole or to be facetious, because Dead or Alive players have seen this song and dance already, at a different rhythm and tempo for sure, but all the beats still remain the same. Stick with me for the next few minutes and you will see that DOA 6 did not set the foundation for Tekken 8's new mechanics or gameplay like I originally theorized, but instead you will come to understand how Dead or Alive 6 became the blueprint for Tekken's destruction. To understand where I'm going with this, let me showcase the chain of events that happened with Dead or Alive that demonstrates the pattern you currently see before you, dating all the way back to Dead or Alive 4, when a disgruntled Itagaki walked away from his own creation, his own studio, to go off to create something entirely different under a different studio. From the moment he did that, nothing was the same for DOA. It became such a long wait between 4 and 5 that other veterans will tell you that they figured DOA 4 was going to be the last game in the series, even though it is regarded as one of the most popular in the series. With that, DOA 5 dropped, and it was a popular DOA game all things considered. DOA 5 Ultimate is still my favorite version of DOA, but there's quite a handful of people that didn't like it in comparison with its previous versions. One of those people just so happened to be Itagaki himself, who openly badmouthed the game as going too much to appeal to the hardcore players while making no attempt to appeal to the casuals, so they had to overcompensate with an overabundance of fan service DLC. The landscape of DOA was changing from Itagaki's vision not even a single release later. Then DOA 6 came out and it deviated even further from that vision, whereas Itagaki had stuff to say about that entry as well, saying stuff along the lines of they didn't lean far enough into the fan service, all in an attempt to be taken more seriously. Where am I going with this? The original vision began to deviate the moment the game's creator left. Are you a fan of Itagaki, or are you just a fan of the game series that he made? This was even twofold considering he made DOA Extreme, which shows the fan base's division at its purest. But even outside of that, that issue still permeates to this day on his other well-renowned series, Ninja Gaiden as well. The division between Ninja Gaiden 2 fans and every other version is completely insane, and the takes that I've heard and seen was so crazy that I had decided a while back to cancel a video that I was making for Ninja Gaiden 4 for the first time, bro, because I just did not want to deal with that headache. Them Ninja Gaiden 2 purists are diehards for Itagaki just off that one game of his. Yet for some reason none of them ever mentioned Devil's Third, even though they claim to be Itagaki fans. But anyways, back to the point. I'm getting off the rails here. The point is that when Itagaki stepped away from all of this, the series that he built were doomed to slowly fall from grace because the mastermind behind the helm was no longer there. This causes division between all the communities of his games, which cannibalizes themselves and stunt the growth for each new entry that releases next, because nobody can band together with a unified direction for the current developers as a community, and the developers try their best to mirror the vision, but without the master on the keys, it is impossible to create anything that will be a one-of-one of what he would make. This is the dilemma that harms every future release. We've seen it happen with Ninja Gaiden 3, Ninja Gaiden 4, Dead or Alive 6, and to be brutally honest, there's a high likelihood that it's going to happen again for 6 Last Round and even DOA 7. This is the long-term results of division within the community, and it's so bad now to the point where a good chunk of the community is radicalized in one way or another. It's on the developers to lock in now and not just make a good fighting game, but make a really good video game to get the community out of the spell that we're currently locked into, or else Dead or Alive 7 just might be the last DOA fighting game we ever get to see. Now with that pattern and groundwork laid bare, let's take all of this and apply this to Tekken. The effects of Tekken 8 causing Harada to leave was not a split decision, but one that was long term. We have to remember that Harada hasn't been in direct control of Tekken for quite some time. To my understanding, he got out of the direct creative control around the later seasons of Tekken 7, and that's where we started seeing all those new DOA looking wall mechanics, the same thing that I use as my starting argument for the DOA 6 Tekken 8 comparison video. However, in spite of this, Harada has remained on Twitter, whether that be to clap back at someone for an easy viral post on Twitter, or as someone to quell the chaos whenever there was a patch that wasn't well received. Harada was the undisputed mouthpiece of the Tekken community online, and with the mastermind of Tekken being the one to talk to the people while also knowing that he was involved with the game in some way, shape, or form, brought a sense of camaraderie within the Tekken community. I personally believe that this is why the Tekken community is so unbelievably committed, yet also so stubborn to leave the game no matter how bad things get. People in the Tekken community have been bad mouthing their own game since Tekken 7, yet still they've been logging in and dumping hours into a game they don't like just off the resolve that they have with Harada, not even really recognizing that he's not even in control anymore. While people are attacking Harada for the state of season 2, in reality all that was Harada acting as a body shield to protect Michael Murray and Nakatsu, and even then he made a bunch of direct moves to try and realign the ship in a better direction going into season 3, but that season 2 update did so much damage, deviated so much from what Tekken was, that the community actively was losing faith and trying to find other games to play. We combine that with the info we know now from Harada, where he left because he felt like he wasn't able to focus on making a good Tekken game at Bandai, and now we starting to see the pattern, even without him even leaving yet. Just being out of the driver's seat caused the game to change and derail drastically over time into something unrecognizable by the long-time legacy players, causing an abundance of them to either shill because Tekken is their job, or play it while actively bad-mouthing it, or throw in the towel and find something else to play. But at the same time, Tekken 8 Season 2 had a good amount of people that genuinely enjoyed the way that the game was designed and actively defend it because they love it. With that, you can already see the community division off the bat. Only thing that's missing from this equation is a competitor to spike the division to an all-time high. In DOA, that community was divided by fans of DOA 6, DOA Extreme, and Dead or Alive 5 Last Round. In Ninja Gaiden, the fan base is divided practically in every entry. That doesn't even include the games that Itagaki made with his own studio for people who are pure Itagaki fans. The point is that the only thing that keeps the Tekken community together at this point currently is the fact that the majority of Tekken players are too stubborn to try any other 3D fighting game that isn't Tekken. They play Tekken because there's no other 3D fighter like it, and as long as that remains the case, the player base, although divided on their feelings for Tekken, all still choose to get on the exact same game and play for hours on end. However, now with Harada, similar to Itagaki, leaving and creating his own studio. And now with Harada having an SNK budget behind him on top of full creative control like he had before, he now has the opportunity to devastate the Tekken community in the worst way possible. If Harada decides to make his own 3D fighting game with his new team and it's anything like his old Tekken games that people have been longing for, a Tekken 6, a Tekken 5 DR, a Tekken Tag 2, with the polish of today's fighting games graphics and standards, it will fragment the Tekken community far more than a Virtua Fighter 6 or a Dead or Alive 7 ever could. A good chunk of these fans who are disgruntled are fans of the old Tekkens, and by extension fans of Harada's vision for Tekken. This includes most of the hardcore players, a good chunk of the players that compete, and even the content creators. This isn't to say that they will immediately jump ship, because Tekken is a household name and will maintain an audience no matter what at this point, but we should not underestimate the rate at which people love Harada and will support anything he does, especially Tekken players. People may not jump ship right away because Tekken is Tekken, but people will indeed go to unbelievable lengths to give this game a chance just because Harada's name is on it. And if it is a 3D fighter that's better to Tekken players that are fans of the older Tekken games, then the word of mouth from the content creators, from the high level players, from the hardcore players, and top level competition will spread like wildfire. And while this competition is good for Tekken overall because it will force them to try and create a better experience, there's something that I did see on Twitter that bothered me that mentioned this exact point, specifically the phrasing of going back to what made Tekken Tekken. I need you to understand that isn't possible anymore, because outside of the fact that the Tekken community can't even really decide what entry is considered real Tekken in the first place, the only way to return to what made Tekken what it was is by getting Harada back on the team and as the full creative director. That ship sailed back all the way back near the later half of Tekken 7. What we're going to get now and what we're going to see now are interpretations of what Nakatsu and Murray think Tekken should look like, and that's assuming that they aren't also looking for a way out of the doors of Namco as well. It's possible to get close, but they will never mirror the perfect Tekken game that the community would like to hope for. And now Harada has the opportunity to give the community an escape route, but by doing this will create multiple divides and ripples within the Tekken community as we know it currently. Fans of Harada games, fans of Tekken, fans of the new 3D fighter that appeals to fans of older Tekkens, multiple games, multiple opinions of different games, and considering the community's tendency to be toxic to a fault online, it's going to be lots of back and forth and tribalism, deepening the wedge in the community that was all once huddled into the exact same series. If we follow the trends and patterns of what we've seen happen in DOA, then what we will see is Tekken flip and flop trying to mirror what Harada did, but now with the communities of Harada game fans and Tekken fans adding a cannibalistic layer of pressure to the developers until they eventually mess around and make something that deviates enough from the vision that it damages the game's reputation beyond even what Tekken 8 Season 2 did. Then there's also the risk of Harada's games failing to meet people's expectations and damaging his reputation as well. And from that point forward, every future game from that point on is going to be cannibalized and stunted in growth thanks to the help of the community attacking itself over and over and over again. Either way you look at it, it's the perfect setup to devastate the Tekken community and bring about the destruction of Tekken as we know it currently. Now do keep this in mind for now. This is only a theory. We don't know for sure if a fighting game is what Harada even plans to make. We're currently just making assumptions at this point. For reference, you would have thought Itagaki would have made a fighting game after he made Devil's Third over at his studio, but instead he made an NFT game. So we really don't know what to expect from the devs until we hear something from the man himself. However, with him having the financial backing of SNK, I'm sure with the budget and full creative team, we can say one thing for certain. Whatever Harada has planned at Versus Studio, I'm sure it's going to be something absolutely special. That's all I got for today, man. So if y'all enjoyed this type of content, y'all want to see more, man, y'all already know what to do. Leave a like, comment, share with your friends, hit the hype button, all that good stuff, man. And as always, subscribe for some more from the Golden Ghost Cartel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.